One thing I wanted to talk about in 9/11 it's pretty serious is there was a reporter that was for Talk magazine that approached me when I was walking up to the World Trade Center. The editor for that magazine is Tina Brown. I'm going to show you some things because I think this journalist, and I don't remember who it was a female journalist. If it was Tina Brown, thank you. She saved my life because it was the only person at that time that told me to get back. I was writing about it as it was happening, and I probably would have got too close to the buildings. But a journalist came out, walked up to me, and basically interviewed me for a moment and then told me to get back. And I listened to her and I went back, and I think she saved my life. And I'm investigating to find out who that person is because I want to thank them. And I want to say thank you for telling me to get back. Because I know me, I would have walked up to those buildings. It probably would have failed either on me or I would have died somewhere. And I'm going to investigate this because I'm going to find that reporter and I want to thank them in person. If it's Tina Brown, then I'm saying thank you. And she was the editor and journalist of Talk magazine. It was only in publication for 3 years. Someone approached me, and I'm going to thank them in person, or I'm going to thank them through this show. It's another thing about this show that I'm grateful for is life. And that person cared about my life that day. Thank you. And I'm going to show you what I have. So during 9/11, on that day, I wrote this right here. It was a poem. And an editor for Talk magazine came up to me and asked me who I was. And I was writing something called Panic in New York. That moment it was going on. This is 9/11, and this is what I started to write. Well, I was interrupted as I was writing because I was walking towards the World Trade at that time because I was trying to just cover what was happening, but I also got inspired and I wrote this poem. Someone from Talk magazine walked up to me with a microphone. They interviewed me for a slight moment. I read this poem. Then after I read it, she told me, she said, get back. Go back, up street, or, go back, back to your school or whatever. Go back, back closer, away from the buildings because the buildings are, she said that the buildings were going to fall. So I started doing research to find out because I remember, the one thing I remember the most is that she said she was with Talk magazine. Talk magazine was not in publication for very long. So I started doing research right here. And I found out with Talk magazine right here, it was only in publication from 1999 to 2002. And I kept wondering, who was the journalist? I know one person that would know. And it's this lady right here, Tina Brown. And there she is, and she looks familiar. She might have been the journalist that day that approached me and told me to get back. That's her name right there, Tina Brown. And I was writing this, and I don't know if it was her holding the recorder, but all I have to say is whoever it was that was interviewing me that day and told me to step back and to go back up towards NYU and the New School University, you saved someone's life, because I probably would have went right to the buildings. I know I am. They said we have information that the Twin Towers may fall. She was talking about the World Trade. And I was headed towards that way. It was either her or someone that she knows. Talk magazine is no longer in publication. It was started by Miramax. It was a magazine kind of like for film and media and things like that. But Tina Brown was the editor. So this may be a story a vlog that I may try to investigate to find that reporter that saved my life that day by telling me that the buildings were going to fall and it was dangerous. When you tell someone that and they go away from it, you actually save their life. You can save someone's life with information. Thank you so much. Thought I'd show some pictures of Talk magazine to begin this kind of investigation on who that reporter was, but the magazine didn't do so well. It was only going on for about 3 years, from 1999 to 2002. So right after 9/11, that following year, they did close the magazine, so it's no longer in publication. Tina Brown was the head editor and one of the founders of that magazine. If it was Tina that approached me that day during 9/11, 2001, I want to say thank you, for telling me to get back and possibly saving my life, because I know how I am. I probably would have walked right up to the buildings. But she was very serious and said, look, you need to get back. Those buildings may fall. And here's some information that you may read about Talk magazine, which is no longer around. But it just goes to show that reporters and people that care like that, they will give you information that can help you. In this case, the reporter from Talk magazine may have saved my life that faithful day. Thank you for warning me and telling me to flee to safety. A September 11th story.